What's going on, you guys? AJ Tucker here with AJ Self-Defense. Did not get a chance to make the video in the office. Lots of moving pieces. I got 3 kiddos practicing, man, so I'm doing it in my second office, which is the car. So I want to talk about 3 different things, but they all pertain to the same topic, in my opinion. All right. Number 1, I want to talk about the Cain Velasquez situation. That is just crazy. I wanted to wait on that one. More details came out. Basically, one of his family members who was a child, he or she was molested over 100 times by this man. And so, yeah, he chased him down. He chased the guy down, and he pulled out his weapon and he shot at him, tried to take him out, Now, unfortunately, it hit somebody else, and that's, he's in jail. And so hopefully he gets out of jail. Now, the crazy thing about this, he's sitting in jail, but the guy who molested this girl and probably molested other people, hundreds of times, he's out on bond. He's out on bail. And the thing is, I've seen so many cases. Now, when I say seen cases, I'm no detective. I'm talking about on the news. I've seen so many cases where somebody is let free, and then they end up doing something again while they're out, while they should be in jail. This thing should be in reverse. Cain Velasquez is not a flight risk or anything like that. They definitely should let him out. Unfortunately, he hit somebody else, and so they putting him in there. But this is it's absolutely insane. It's like the person who did the dirt is the one who's scot free, and then the person, I can't imagine that happening to me, man. It would probably send me into a rage. I don't know if I would have did the exact same thing. I have no idea what I want to do. I probably would have blacked out, and there's no telling what I would do. I can't even imagine the amount of rage. I have daughters, I have nieces, I have nephews, and I can't imagine anything like that happening to any one of them and me being able to hold my composure. That would be the hardest thing in the world. And so, he has a high-powered lawyer. Money from all over the world was donated, and millions of dollars was donated his way. I think one person donated like $1 million or $10 million like that, and got him one of the most high-powered lawyers available. And so hopefully, man, he can get him out there, and hopefully they can put the real monster in jail. It's like, you could be a monster nowadays and be good to go. It's absolutely insane, man. Another story I wanted to talk about, where it's important I always talk about how when it comes to self-defense, there's times where a person cannot defend themselves. Like in that case, it was a child. She could not defend herself. This next case is in Texas. It was at a private school where a kid, he was hazed. And I talked about this a couple of years ago, where this happened in Maryland, but this happened in Texas now, where a kid was hazed by the baseball team. He walks into the locker room, the lights were turned off, and they assaulted him with a baseball bat. A baseball bat. Now, I'm not even going to try to wrap my mind around that, but he did what he needed to do, and he told the people he needed to tell, and they tried to brush it under the rug. They tried to go about their business and not do anything about it. And so now 5 people from that place, they're going to jail. And the thing is, it's like, when something like this happens, you have to act. You have to act swiftly, and you have to act hard. You know what I'm saying? When I say act hard, I don't mean act like a thug or nothing like that. But I mean, it has to be a swift action to this. And you need to report this to the police. It's absolutely insane. They try to brush this under the rug. I don't know who they were trying to protect. But if somebody goes that route, they need no protection. They need to be tried as an adult. That's a future junior criminal right there. I know people can turn it around, but typically when somebody does that at that young of an age, like they're a teenager and they're assaulting somebody with a baseball bat, then I don't care how privileged they are. Like, I don't care how bright their future looks. I don't care if they got a scholarship. If that person is doing that as a teenager, just imagine what that person is going to do when they're an adult. All you do is get stronger as an adult in whatever you're doing. If you're an alcoholic as a teenager, you're going to be an alcoholic. If you're, studying, like a student studying to be a doctor, probably going to be a doctor. If you're a junior criminal, you're probably going to be a criminal. Now, here's the thing. There are stories out there where kids had a rough start. They went to jail and this and that, and they became successful. But that's why it's such an amazing story, because that's not the way things go on a normal basis. So the third thing I want to highlight, and like I said, man, there's people who can't defend themselves. In this case, the boy could not defend himself. He was jumped by multiple people and multiple attackers. And so the least he could do is tell to get these people in trouble, so there'd be some type of discipline, some type of punishment, but there's not. That's where they failed them miserably. So hopefully now everybody pays the price that they need to pay. And then the last story I want to talk about is an unfortunate case, the Katie Meyer situation. I saw that, and when the story first broke, and they said they will not tell the details, they're not going to talk about how she passed away. The first thing I thought about was probably a suicide, or maybe it was a murder. Somebody did something they didn't want to let out, but most likely it was a suicide. And her parents came out on the news, and they talked about how they talked to her hours before the suicide. Now, this is the worst possible thing for a parent. You never want to outlive your kid, but it's one thing about a kid, getting sick or something, and this is a whole nother world. And this girl was a superstar. She was a superstar goalie. She was a leader. She was always seemed to be in a good mood, just a huge personality. And, she ended up doing that. The last person you would suspect. Whenever they talk to her friends and families, they say it's the last person you would suspect. And the parents, I'm not going to go too deep in it and all I'm going to do is talk about what the parents talked about. The parents talked about she had a situation at school where she defended somebody and she got in trouble for defending somebody. And there were disciplinary actions. There were legal actions. There was letters being sent to her. And she had been dealing with this stuff. And they feel like that's what ultimately led to this. And the parents had no idea about it. Now, if my child is going to school, especially a school like Stanford, and I don't care if she's 21, I don't care if she's 22 years old, you need to let me know. There needs to be some type of network and some type of communication, because they're 22 years old, they're grown adult. But if they're 21, 22 years old and they're in the school, they're a student. They are a student. You need to send me something as well. You need to send me a copy. You need to reach out to me and talk to me. And so, because the thing is, she was a very large personality. She was a leader. And so she was probably the one handling other people's problems. And when she was having problems, there was nobody really there for her to talk about it to. She probably put on the front to make it look like everything was okay. Everything was cool. And she supported people. She supported others to the end. And so, anyway, man, that's all I got for this one. Tell me what you think about that, man. 3 different cases where you definitely want, you can't defend yourself. Sometimes you have to have others step in for you. That's all I got, man. I'll talk to you on the next one.